We've got a related video question. This one's from Darryl Toohey in Darlinghurst, New South Wales.
Sophie, your side of politics has made a lot of noise about the carbon tax, but the fact is the revenue raised by this tax will be used to compensate most consumers for any price rises. If you win government, you're going to unwind the tax and take away the compensation, but then impose your own great big new tax on everything in the form of your exorbitant parental leave scheme. Given that the revenue raised by your tax on big business will be used to benefit just one segment of the electorate, how will you compensate pensioners, students and low to middle income earners from the obvious price rises that will flow from your tax on business? Thank you.
Parental leave scheme, a tax on business?
The parental leave scheme is a very important economic reform. It's important for productivity, it's important for participation, and it's
Is it a tax on business?
It is a small levy on a small number of... Hold on.
Is a levy a tax?
On a small number of businesses that, as soon as the budget can afford it, will be absorbed within the budget. But the reality is that you cannot compare an economy-wide tax that is intended to hurt people, and on the government's own estimates, millions of Australians will be worse off, with a genuine economic reform intended to assist with participation of women in the workforce and with productivity.
Very briefly though, to follow your logic on the carbon tax, if you put a tax on business to make them pay for parental leave,
it's only large businesses that will be paying.
It's only large businesses pay the carbon tax.
No, every time you switch on the light, you'll be paying for the carbon tax, Tony.
Okay, well, that's because costs are passed on. So what I'm asking is, are the businesses, this is the point of the questioner, are the businesses who pay this tax going to pass on those costs to consumers?
Well, I'm assuming businesses will have a cost structure that reflects their costs. So if that modest cost increase is incorporated in their prices, sure. But I think you're being quite mischievous, Tony, in
sorry, the question is not here to follow up what they are, so I simply do the logical follow-up.
I'm sure you can follow up. I don't think any reasonable objective analysis can compare an economy-wide carbon tax, the biggest in the world, that is already destroying confidence in Australia, with an important economic reform to increase our productivity and our participation in the workforce.
All right. Greg Combet.
Look, stop talking the economy down. We've got unemployment at 5%. We've got unemployment at 5%. The economy's growing at 4.3%. Interest rates are coming down. You know, the economy, inflation is controlled. It is in good shape. There's hundreds of billions of dollars coming in. And I'll tell you one reason why Tony Abbott can't and won't be repealing the carbon tax. And that is at the core of what the government is doing is some very important tax reform. For income tax, we will be trebling the income tax-free threshold with revenue from the carbon price from $6,000 to $18,200, because we want to help people who need help the most. And that will liberate 1 million people from paying tax and filing a tax return. And with important reforms like that, it is socially fair and equitable. This will cut greenhouse gas emissions. It'll allow us to put a cap on them and to achieve that cap by 2020, and the economy will remain strong. And the Liberal Party should stop talking the economy down. That's what's destroying confidence.
You do it yourselves, Greg. Your government has squandered billions of dollars. You've increased... You've indebted this country to over $130 billion. You've increased the debt ceiling to $300 billion. Oh, by the way, you're supposed to produce a surplus next year, so why would you need to increase the debt ceiling? You have shamefully misused the trust the Australian people put in you, and they see that waste and disaster from year to year to year. It just gets worse and worse and worse. That's why they're concerned about the future of this country.
Which economy came through the global financial crisis?
Okay, all right.
Oh, so that was you, was it?
I'm going to go to the rest of the panel. Lenore Taylor, there are a couple of issues